What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, and a happy Easter weekend to you all. And we have got an Easter special to you today. And no, it's not the top 10 traitors, it's not the top 10 Judases, because that just would have been a top 10 Sol Campbell list. We have got a top 10 bald 11 for Tottenham Hotspur. So we're going to be going through an 11 of bald, hairless players for Tottenham Hotspur, eggheads, should we say, for Easter. And let's get into it. I've really enjoyed compiling this list for you guys, so let's see how we get on. We're going for a 4-3-3 formation. It was quite fun, wasn't it, Sim, compiling this list?
I mean, thinking about who has hair and who hasn't hair was its own job in itself, but I think we've come up with a decent team. I would like to know people's thoughts and if we've left anyone out and people think should be in the team and who shouldn't be, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
All right, so a 4-3-3 formation. Let's start with the goalkeeper in goal. We could have had Casey Keller. We could have had Brad Friedel, but we have gone for Aurelio Gomez.
Yeah, I think at his best, he was probably the best keeper of those lot. And I think at his best, he was a phenomenal keeper, Aurelio Gomez. Just like, you don't know what he was going to get. But it was like, he was so entertaining, Aurelio Gomez.
He really was. That season when we made Champions League, he was absolutely insane that season. And that game against Arsenal when Danny Rose scored that goal really stands out for me. I mean, I could just remember it now, that fingertip save for Van Persie's free kick.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And just countless saves throughout that game. But you know what I mean, with the good that you got with him, you've got the absolutely bizarre and awful, you know what I mean, giving away 2 penalties in the space of 2 minutes. Just pure calamities as well. I remember against Chelsea, against Man United.
Yeah,
against
Chelsea.
God.
Oh my God, he let it through his legs against Fulham. I remember when he first came, he was like a bull in a china shop. He would make an amazing save 1 minute and a horrific mistake the next minute. It was unbelievable to watch. You didn't know what you're going to get. But I remember he also saved 3 penalties or 2 penalties in one game. No, 3 penalties. He saved
was
3
it 3?
penalties.
I thought it was 2.
He saved 2 and conceded another.
Yeah, that was it.
that was Gomez for you. But yeah, never a dull moment with him around.
Yeah, and he was called the Octopus, and you know, I mean, his hands could literally reach anywhere.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's so mental. True.
But look, all right, Aurelio Gomez in goal. Right back, we could have had Alan Hutton, but we're going for Stevie Carr. I mean, Stevie Carr was a brilliant servant to the club up until the end when he left in quite not great fashion, was it?
Wasn't great.
He goes, I want to leave to win trophies, and who does he join?
Newcastle.
You know what I mean? So
the only team worse off with trophies than
exactly.
us. But yeah, look, he was in his day when he went before his injury problems. He was one of the best right backs in the league, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was very consistent, and then he had a lot of injuries. But he was always a good player, Stephen Carr. Good attacking right back. Scored some great goals in his time. Was always never afraid to go forward.
That one against Man United really stands out. One against Sunderland as well.
He scored a few really good, really cracking goals, Stephen Carr. But unfortunately, injuries kind of ruined his career a bit.
Yeah, and I think the way he kind of left did kind of tarnish his reputation at Spurs a bit.
Did he not get it back when he was part of that Birmingham team that beat Arsenal in the final?
Yeah, I mean, he did kind of. And I think he turned out for Ledley's testimonial as well, didn't he?
Go.
So, we'll go Stevie Carr at right back. Left back, we could have had Paul Konchesky, but we're going to go for Christian Ziege. And, you know, when you think about Christian Ziege, you just think about that free kick against Arsenal, don't you?
Yeah, what a free kick. That was one of my earliest North London derby memories, and it was really, really special watching that free kick on the telly. Like, I remember going absolutely crazy when he scored that. And he scored a few. He was really good at free kicks.
I remember one vividly against West Brom, I think.
West Brom, and against Man City in the game we lost 4-3. He scored a free kick as well.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He scored a few of them. He was really good at those, but I remember he had some weird injury. What happened? Which pretty much ruined his career. It was like apparently in 2003, I think it was. He had like some muscle injury in his leg, which it swelled up massively, like a rugby ball or something. He said
nearly lost his leg.
And then he went on to play still for another couple of years. But he another player blighted by injury, but he was good in his day.
He was a top left back.
He
really was
great. He was a good attacking left back. Really great cross of the ball. Good at set pieces. And he was a top player, but yeah, he had some weird muscle injuries.
Yeah. All right, so right back Stevie Carr, left back Christian Ziege. Now the centre backs. First one, we could have gone for Anthony Gardner, could have gone for Noe Pamaro, but we thought we should aim our sights a bit higher than that. And the first centre back we're going to go for is Yunus Kabul.
who was good. I always liked Yunus Kabul. I thought
Apart from when
his last
he was
season,
part of the
Bomb squad.
Bomb squad.
Part of the bomb squad under Pochettino for some reason. Yeah, they didn't see eye to eye. But I think it was a weird one with Kabul because we signed him and he was awful. Then we let him go to Portsmouth. Then a year later we signed him back.
He came back really good, didn't he?
And he came back a proper different play. He played a right back. I remember he got the assist obviously for that goal we got Champions League for Peter Crouch.
Yeah.
And then he turned into a really top right centre back for us. Really top centre back. And then I remember
injuries again.
Exactly. He had a big injury, ruled out for like the whole year. I can't remember what year it was. And then he never came back the same player.
I remember me and you were quite big Kabul fans at the time, and there were these injuries that were blighting his second time at Spurs, and then I think it was a cup game against Burnley.
Yeah, he was awful.
And like me and you were sitting together in that game, and we were just like, "This is the end of Kabul, isn't it?"
He was terrible. He was arguing with everyone.
Yeah.
He was making mistakes. He was just poor.
It was just like that was the point where the injuries really caught up with him. You know what I mean?
Do you remember when we signed him? I don't remember. He had this reputation for like scoring all these long-range free kicks.
Yeah, and I remember in the pre-season. Do you not remember in that first pre-season he hit the post?
Yeah, that was it. He hit the post
from 35 yards out.
They
used
to lay it off for him and he used to smash it.
And then we didn't see that again.
We never saw it once. Because I remember YouTube clips before. It was he's going to be scoring all these free kicks. I can't wait. Never did it once for Spurs.
Yeah, but it was in that first pre-season he did it, and then never again.
And you think, oh god, he's going to do it every game for us. He never did. But yeah, look, he was good in his day. Yunus Kabul, just a shame. Again, another person seems to be a theme. Maybe it's ball player and injuries. I don't know what it is, but another one blighted by injury.
And then his partner, we're going to go for William Gallas.
William Gallas.
The journeyman around London, was at Arsenal captain, was Chelsea. Was he Chelsea captain? I think he played for Chelsea.
I think he was Chelsea captain, maybe. Like, not like captain as in like for the season, but like if Terry was out, like he might have like stepped in or something.
And then he ended up coming to Spurs and ended up being captain at Spurs. But William Gallas's time at Spurs, I think, will be remembered hot and cold moments because there were some bad moments in there. So there were some good moments in there. Obviously, led us into the Champions League as well, didn't he?
No, I think the season. Oh, yeah. That first season in the Champions League, he was signed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a signing under Harry Redknapp, and Harry made a classic quote on him, didn't he?
He said, because a lot of Spurs fans were unhappy with the signing at the time because they didn't like Gallas because he played for Arsenal and Chelsea. And he said, it's not. What's wrong with him? It's not like I've signed the Yorkshire Ripper. What's he done? What's he done? He's a football player. He plays football. That's all he does. So I got no problem with him. And look, I think at the end of the day, he was okay for us. He got man of the match, remember, at the Emirates when we won 3-2.
Yeah.
He got man of the match that day. That obviously, I think he was captain as well that day going into the Emirates. So I think that obviously drawed a lot of the Spurs fans in. He obviously wasn't at his best. We definitely had him past his peak. That's no doubt about it. But I thought during his time at Tottenham, he was okay. He was okay.
I remember a few mistakes at the time. I just remember going away to Birmingham. I think we lost the game in the last minute or something, and he made a horrific mistake to lose us the game, or maybe the game ended up 1-1 or something like that. I remember that, and I remember a few other mistakes. But look, I think on a whole, I think he had a good time at Spurs, Gallas.
I think so. I don't think anyone dislikes him at the moment.
So that back five is Gomez in goal, Stevie Carr right back, Christian Ziege left back with Yunus Kabul and William Gallas at the centre back positions. How do you think that defence would fare in the Premier League?
When they're not injured, if they're all on the pitch, I reckon they'll be quite good actually.
Not bad, wouldn't it?
I reckon they'll be all right.
All right, let's move on to the midfield. It's actually a very defensive midfield. We could have gone for Danny Murphy, but we have not. First one we're going to go for is Sandro.
I
love another one with the injury problems.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, another one was unbelievable before that bad injury against QPR. He was actually, I remember that season, he was one of the best defensive mids in the league.
He was
so good. And another one, never recovered from that real long-term injury he got against QPR.
Well, there was that story that came out from him that he was talking, I can't remember which publication he was talking about. And he was talking about that he was playing with one of his legs being shorter than the other without even realising.
Yeah, apparently that he lost because of that injury, he lost literally, not a lot, but he lost a tiny, minuscule amount of his knee. And then all of a sudden, he didn't realise, but it was his leg that got injured was a tiny bit shorter now than the other leg, and that caused other problems when he was trying to play. And yeah, it's such a shame because he was a real he could score. He could score from long range. He was like such a beast in that centre mid as well. Like he was all over the place. He was so hard to play against. And him and Dembele made a really good partnership together. But then after that injury, it was never the same for him. And he came back and he was just slow and like he couldn't really do what he used to.
It's a big shame, but I do remember a point where he dyed his hair red, and all the fans were like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then he came back with the next game with his hair blue.
Yeah, this is before his Egghead days.
Yeah.
He only was an Egghead post injury.
Yeah.
But he did score, I remember, even despite being not great. He did score that cracking goal against Man United.
Yeah.
That was after his injury.
Yeah, and before then he scored a cracking goal at Stamford Bridge, if I remember.
Yeah, that was right. But yeah, it's a shame. Another player blighted by injury, but he was really good in his time.
He was a proper fan's favourite.
He was. I no one wanted to let him go, but it just had to happen, I think, unfortunately.
Next to him in midfield, we're going to go for Wilson Palacios. And I remember when he first came in, when we first signed him, what a signing that was, because he gave us exactly what we needed at the time. We needed some grit and some steel in the middle there, and that's exactly what he gave us. And he was a brilliant signing that first season.
I think getting man of the match in your debut against Arsenal was obviously going to get the fans on side.
Yeah.
And another one who did really well for his first year or so, and then obviously he had a tragedy with his brother.
Yeah.
And that kind of affected him really negatively. And he, again, another one who wasn't the same after that. But he was really good in his time, really industrious midfielder. We got him at a time where we were near the bottom of the table. We needed someone who could stand up and fight.
Was that 2 points from 8 games season?
It was. Yeah. We got him in that January. We spent about 14 million on him. And I think we sold him to Stoke a couple years later. But I think he did a good job in his time at Spurs, Palacios.
Yeah. He came in to do a specific job, and he did that very well.
Yeah.
And then alongside him in midfield, in the third man in midfield, we are going for Didier Zakora. The man that's tried to stamp racism out of football all on his own with Emery.
I remember that.
Out in Turkey. But look, his time at Spurs will obviously be remembered for not scoring a goal.
Yeah, especially also going through 1-1 in the cup final. I think last minute as well was 1-1.
It was,
and I remember he shot, saved it. He got the rebound. He was all right. He's got an open goal, and he put it at the side. Oh my god, I remember that so clear. I thought that was it. We're never going to win this game now. But yeah, that was what he was most famous for. Also, his horrific passing. He really was not a good passer, but. He was tasked with replacing Michael Carrick. Never really did that.
No,
but he had a few good games. He wasn't awful.
I actually, a lot of people when they remember Zakora, they go, "Oh, he was rubbish. He was rubbish. He was rubbish." But I actually thought he was all right, Zakora. I thought like, in terms of the job he did in the middle of being that kind of headless chicken, running around, putting in challenges and stuff like that, I thought he did well. Basically, what Musa Sissoko does now.
Pretty much. Who's better, Zakora or Sissoko?
I would say Sissoko, probably.
Maybe.
I would say Sissoko, but the role in the team was pretty much the same.
Yeah, very similar. True.
All right, so Didier Zakora, Wilson Palacios and Sandro in the middle three. Not much creativity there.
No, I'm not sure we can create many chances, but we're hard to beat.
Yeah, that's for sure. And let's go on to the left-hand side of the attack. We're going to go for Stefan Dalmat.
Stefan Dalmat, second appearance in one of our 11s. And yeah, he was good for like 6 months at Spurs before his attitude problems came to a head. But I feel like
fight with O'Hara.
And all these things. I think it was just an attitude problem in general, not just like
he had top talent.
He did have real good talent, and he was at top clubs. And I remember he had some really top performances. But unfortunately, his attitude kind of was too much for his talent even, so he never really made it here, or even after Spurs never really made it properly. But when he was at Spurs, he showed like what he can do in a lot of games.
Agreed. On the right-hand side of the attack, we are going for Lucas Mora.
Yeah, come on.
We don't need to tell you much about Lucas Mora. Obviously still in the squad now, famous night in Amsterdam, and I think he's probably going through his best moment in a Spurs shirt right now.
I wonder how obviously Lucas had that moment in Amsterdam, but I wonder how he'll be remembered at Spurs after he leaves. If
he's always going to be remembered for that hat-trick in Amsterdam, isn't he?
It's a bit like how Ronnie Rosenthal was always remembered for that hat-trick. A bit different, but in the FA Cup, like we always remember him for that one specific thing. I don't remember him for anything else. I think Lucas might be similar to that, but I think he's a good player. I do love Lucas Moura. He always gives 100%, and I think I agree with you. I do think he's going through his best moment at the moment in a Spurs shirt.
All right, and up front, we could have gone for Darren Bent. Well, kind of, not really. We could have gone for Bobby Zamora, but we are going to go for Freddie Canute. Definitely one that we let go way too early.
Way too early.
I thought he was a brilliant striker for Spurs. He went on to play for, what was it, Sevilla after that, and absolutely smashing it out
so
there.
good for Sevilla. He was one of the best strikers in Europe when he was there.
Yeah, and like at Spurs, you know, he scored some brilliant goals. I remember that scissor kick against Leeds. I remember that volley against Leicester, was it?
Everton.
And yeah, I mean, he was a brilliant striker at Spurs, and one that we let go way too early, in my opinion.
Yeah, just one of those ones. I don't know. We had Keane and Defoe at the time, and I always felt like Canute was a great foil for them. But for some reason, I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe we didn't fancy him, or we just thought he wasn't as good. He was a bit inconsistent when he was at Spurs. I remember he started like a house on fire. It was unbelievable at the beginning.
Leeds was his debut.
Yeah,
wasn't
that
it?
was his debut, and he was unbelievable. That was like a last-minute winner, and he was unbelievable. And then he kind of slowed down a bit. But I think overall, his time at Spurs probably wasn't great, but if we just gave it a bit longer, I think we would have reaped the reward.
How long was he out for?
Only 2 years. He was out for 2 years, and we let him go for $4.5 million to Sevilla, and then he went on to challenge for titles, and like he got 20-30 goals a season out there in Spain. He was unbelievable, and he knocked us out the UEFA Cup as well with a goal, that came back to bite us. But I thought he was a real good player, and he was one for sure. He's the one player I look at and think we definitely let him go way too early, and he could have been a striker for us for a few years if he would have stayed, I reckon.
All right, so that is our Egghead 11. Hope you're having a good Easter, everyone. Let me just run through that 11 with you one more time. So that's Aurelio Gomez in goal, Stevie Carr right back, Christian Ziga at left back, a back two of Yunus Kabul and Billy Gallas, a middle three of Sandro, Wilson Palacios and Didier Zakora, Mora on the right, Stefan Dalmat on the left, and Freddie Canute up top. How do you think this team fares in the Premier League? Apart from the creativity in midfield, it's not a bad team.
I reckon lower mid-table. They're not going to get beaten too many times, but I can't see them winning that many games.
Bit of a Burnley.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a bit better than Burnley. I reckon they're good defence, decent midfield, but not much creativity. Very solid defensive team.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so there you have it. That is our Egghead 11. Let me know in the comment section below.
Oh, our manager. We never did manager.
It's got to be Martin Yole. It's got to be Martin Yole.
Martin Yole. Managed by Martin Yole.
He's got no hair, but we don't care.
Exactly. It's got to be managed by Martin Yole. Love that.
Or Christian Gross.
No, Martin Yole.
All right, so look, there you have it. Martin Yole is our manager. That is our 11. Let me know in the comment section below if we have left anyone out. Happy Easter. Have a great Easter weekend, all of you guys. A nice long weekend, Friday and Monday off work for you guys. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.